Well, this is not coming soon. It's already here. It's the traffic watch before we begin the newspapers. Let's look at the main routes. We have the Ring Road Central. And look, we're having a lot of traffic prior to that traffic light, usually where we have the camera. That intersection around Paloma and also getting to the bus stop restaurant, you can see a lot of commuters or pedestrians making that crossing from the Paloma side onto the bus stop side. All these routes are leading you from the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area to either GBC, Dankwa Circle, etc. And on the opposite end, for those coming from those areas, within this route or along this route, you meet a little bit of traffic before that traffic intersection as you head towards the industrial area. Of course, it depends on which of the routes you want to use. You just want to use the intersection or the interchange roundabout, or you want to go up, get to the industrial area, Obechebilamte, Kadeshi. Now let's go to the airport city, and it still looks foggy. We'll do something about the lenses of this camera, try and clean it. It looks like the weather seemed to have affected it the last couple of days. It's not as if it wants to rain. It's just because because of the humidity, we've witnessed some moisture on the lenses. But I hope that you can see it's overlooking the airport Shell filling station. And before then, you could see that at least the route is a bit free this morning. Let's not waste lots of time on this because it's a bit blur, and so viewers will have some difficulty in watching. But when we get onto the Bemakam Gifford Road, this route usually it's the main link, especially for those who are using that bypass from the Airport Hills area, and many commuters who use that route will be coming from the Spinters Road. They would have been coming through either Ajiringan or many areas along East Legon, using that detour, the underpass that will lead them onto the Palace Mall area, and so would want to get onto the Bemakam Gifford Road, either want to go to Labadi, Bemakam, many of those areas around Elwak. But today the road is free. So just in case you want to go to the main Accra area, you're getting some traffic congestion ahead of you, approaching Flower Pot or approaching the mall area, you can make that detour, come and go through the Airport Hills, that bypass, and get through this area and get to Elwak, Switchback Road, Cantonment, Osu, Labadi. Very easy for you to use this route as well. Now let's go to Titikwashi. It's a beehive of traffic activity each morning. Time check in the studio, 20 minutes to the top of the hour. It looks like today is better for all those commuters who will be coming from the main stretch, Zongo Junction. Before then, we would have had Pantang, Adenta, Amra here, those who are coming from Dodowa or Ebri, and so you can use this as quickly as possible. Try and get onto the routes before the congestion gets to its high point. Those coming from the Accra-Tema motorway from the Tema end also will witness some light-hearted moments while being in traffic, and so it's free for you this morning. Now let's go to the Tema end of the Accra-Tema motorway. This one, because of the constant traffic that is witnessed, you get to find a lot of traffic, but not this morning. There's the ongoing project as usual is the extension of the Tema Port expansion project, and so a roundabout and some sort of semi interchange is being constructed here. Usually you find a lot of traffic, but it's moving, it's there, traffic is still there for those residents or commuters who are coming from Afienya, those coming from Ashaiman, Michelle Camp, or those who would have been coming from Pon, Jopanya, or many areas around Akuse who want to make the detour to Accra, or those who will be coming from Prampram Dawenya, you still use this route. Look, there's traffic, but it's moving, so that's the good news about it. You can use this route, get onto the Accra-Tema motorway, or you want to go into Tema Township, very easy for you to do so. I hope that this makes your way or entry into the capital clearer, but throughout the rest of the day, you can go to the site. The portal is traffic.com.gh. Make sure you get to know your route around the capital. But look, we also have to bring you the latest news we have. I can see 2020 trial census will be counted. I haven't been counted in any census in Ghana. I don't know whether they have to count us one. Have you been counted before?
No.
Yeah, but it's an estimation.
But I'm here, and when they so I guess what that means is that when they say there are 30 million Ghanaians, they haven't included me yet.
Yeah, I don't know whether you've lived in any
and
place that your house has been marked and they say, yeah, I don't know. Because the last time there was a census, I asked my household, have they been here? Have they asked how many people live in? Because that would mean that you've been counted. Yeah.
Well, let's have a look through these papers, and there are quite a lot of them. So we'll do the headlines as always, and then we'll settle for details. Oh, we've got 2 copies of the Business Finder. Thank you, Elvis, but one will be enough. All right, I'll rifle through them. I have the Daily Graphic, the Daily Guide, the Dispatch, and then perhaps I'll do the Finder and leave the rest to you. Okay then, so Daily Graphic, let's start with the front page. Banner headline this morning, massive development begins. President launches Ghana-Sinohydro project and cuts sod for Tamale Interchange. So very historic moment there, and the Interchange looking really good in the artist impressions on the front page. Go and check it out. Also, 2020 trial census takes place in May. Public universities bill to harmonize management. That's according to the Ministry of Education. If we get the chance, we'll talk about that later. And settle your dispute out of court, judge tells Apostolic Church, Ghana. Right, let's flip that paper over, have a look on the back page. And Kotoko down, ash gold is the big one. And then Esso's Brace Wins Day for Hearts. Also, women's special competition. Through to final. I think that might be in the game of football. Okay then. Men's special competition results at a glance are also there. Breku, Chelsea, and all others representing in that table. Right, Daily Guide next. Let's flip open the front page. Nana launches $1.5 billion project in Tamale. And it's no longer 2 billion. Well, 1.5 billion of it is being spent on roads, but I'm sure the other 500 million will also be spent on projects of some sort. Ex-cop killers sentenced to death. Story on page 3. Kennedy Japan sued 100 million by a Ghanaian-born Lebanese or Lebanese-born Ghanaian. I'm not sure which one it is, but he's being sued by someone for apparently putting out a defamatory video. Also on the front page, SNIT exceeds target by 1 million Ghana cedis. That's under Dr. John Ofori-Tinkran. And government to construct 50 steel bridges. That's part of the Sinohydro deal. Right. Hungry players can win AFCON. That's on the back page of the Daily Guide this morning. Capitalize on 100th anniversary. And Nigeria Supporters Club launched. Finally, Man U stars face pay cut if. I wonder what the condition is. One goal from Barcelona and people are losing salary.
Kojo, we have to clarify the 50 steel bridges. That one is another facility secured with the Czech government.
I see. So that's not part of Sinohydro.
And then we have about 69 others also under the sign.
Ah, so 69 under Sinohydro and an extra 50. Okay, steel bridges. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, I've been reading a bit about the technology of bridges, and I hope that we considered the most cost-effective options when we were going for steel, especially depending on which part of the country we're building them in.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Daily Dispatch next. Let's have a look at the front page. Some interesting headlines here. Celebrities have little influence on how people vote. That's according to Ben Epson. Also on the front page, PPA must track blacklisted road contractors. This is following a Corruption Watch story on the Super Morning Show about the fact that, well, PPA doesn't actually have a list of blacklisted contractors. So in spite of all of those reported savings that they said they had made by, spotting bad deals, none of the contractors involved in those bad deals has been blacklisted. So they can apply and bid to work with government again. All right, JJ declining renaming.
You wanted them to be blacklisted?
But of course. I mean, if somebody tries to cheat you, why would you want to do business with them again? Why, as a nation, why would we want to do that? Anyway, JJ declining renaming of UDS after him. No big deal. That's according to the Education Ministry. I wonder what is a big deal for them in regard to this bill. I wonder whether any of the feedback will change their position. In fact, there is something in the daily graphic that might help us figure out for ourselves whether the Ministry of Education will change their position in any way following the feedback that has been pouring in.
I think privately, looking at the aggregation of the concerns that have been expressed by academia, and generally those who currently are in the institutions and in the teaching practice, and those apparently who also have headed these institutions raising these concerns, they may be thinking privately that, look, this is a big deal.
Well,
it is.
Hold your horses until you hear what the Deputy Minister has been saying. But also on the front page of the Daily Dispatch, Akuse prison ex-convicts on raping spree. The suggestion here is that when people are jailed in Akuse, after they're released, they don't really go away. They stick around in Akuse. I guess it's a nice place to live. And then, unfortunately, they get involved in crime, rape and defilement being one of those crimes. That is the assessment of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. And it's not a pleasant thing to imagine. I think I'm done. No, actually, I'll do the Business Finder because, yeah. Okay, Business Finder has a banner headline this morning. $2 billion Sinohydro. Is this Sinohydro or Sinohydro? Sinohydro projects takeoff. Phase 1 consists of 2 interchanges, 441 kilometers of road costing $500 million US. That's phase 1. Farmers to adopt new rice planting technology, according to the minister, and 50% benchmark reduction not a myth. That's the GRA boss speaking. Why are people still asking whether it's a myth or not? Just go to the ports. You can find out for yourself whether it is being implemented or it isn't.
Well, I also have to say, usually Sino is usually used to refer to people of China and the rest of those Southeast Asian countries. It has the same features, I guess. But let's go to the Ghanaian Times. It has on the front page more stories about the Ghana-Sinohydro project taking off as president, according to the Ghanaian Times, as also we've told you on the headline front pages of the other newspapers. President cuts sword for the construction of the Tamale Interchange. We have government secures 47 million euros for the construction of 50 steel bridges across Ghana, and police foil attempted bank robbery in Tema. And we also have on the back page of the Ghanaian Times, Kotoko silence Ash Gold and Hearts Labour to beat dwarfs in a crab.
I like the way you say the name of the team.
Kotoko. Oh, sorry.
You sound like yes, it is somewhere in Guildford, Surrey, and saying Kotoko. Asante Kotoko.
Asante Kotoko. Elephant Castle. Charlie, you move on. The custodian. Kufuor kickstarts $2 billion Ghana-Sinohydro project. Cuts sword for Tamale Interchange. Story is on page 3 of the paper. Other projects, if you look at, I'll just give you a gist before we move on. We have 1,300 kilometers of roads, 3 interchanges, and 69 steel bridges. They will cost some $850 million of this amount. Number of lots here of Cape Coast inner roads. Some had been started before, they will be continued, and a couple of them in Hokwe, Jasikandodo, Pepesu Road. Hey, that one has appeared on the budget since the year 2000.
That's the road. That's the road that the Kanazoe contractor from Burkina Faso did, and the former president went to inaugurate it and said it's the best road in Ghana. Within a month, there were potholes on it. I wonder whether we shouldn't go back and ask for an apology from the president for telling the people of that area that he has just inaugurated the best road in Ghana, only for potholes to appear after 3 months. 3 months. So, I mean, I feel like the people there, you know, have been given a raw deal. Shoddy work praised by the president. And I wonder whether someone has gone back to fix it. We have a new government now. Have they thought enough about the people there to go back and fix that road? I would like to know. Maybe we can get our correspondent to go check it out.
I think so too.
And see if it's on the Ghana-Sinohydro list of roads to be done. Best road in Ghana.
Continuing with the stories on the front page of the Custodian, Rawlings rise to Education Ministry over UDS. You have also a story having a picture, an attached picture of Obi Ambo, a member of Parliament for Ikuapem South, a deputy minister. Combe Clinic to be district hospital soon. President visits 3 new regions, and Opon Nkrumah replies minority on Ghana-Sinohydro deal. And we know it's all in relation with their criticism of whether or not there was a value for money audit. Now let's look at the last paper. The Custodian newspaper has on the front page, no mercy for saboteurs. Ghana must deal ruthlessly. Now, we have the Daily Statesman newspaper. The Daily Statesman newspaper has a story, no mercy for saboteurs. Ghana must deal ruthlessly with the Gridco bandits. $2 billion Sinohydro project begin. More jobs for young Ghanaians. I hear an insert consistently. The president saying over 1,900 jobs will be created. That's a good one. 50 new steel bridges for Ghana as well. So part of the Sinohydro deal. The president, though, will be on a tour of the Western North region, one of the newly created regions in our country. Yeah. It was one of the roads he was visiting, the areas he was visiting during the campaign of 2016 with his eyes open, because the then president has said he closed his eyes, or some people closed their eyes when they were visiting some of the constructed roads. In the
they sleep, he said.
Oh, okay. Yes. Sleep. All right. You want to have any pick?
Yeah, okay. So, public universities bill to harmonize management ministry. This is on the front page of the Daily Graphic. The story itself is on page 16. Professor Kwesi Nyanka, Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, has been responding on this issue of the public universities bill. So let's clarify a few things first. There have been many comments made as feedback on this bill, officially from individuals who were asked to comment. So the universities individually were asked to comment. Also, the Vice Chancellor's group was asked to comment, and other stakeholders were asked to comment by government. We have read all of these comments. Former Vice Chancellors and so forth have all said what they think. You know, Professor Adai Mensah, Professor Aite, and so forth. So we have put out what the stakeholders, the people who know best about this sector, have had to say about this bill. Okay? Now I'm about to read the response of a minister of state in charge of tertiary education.
And that will make this...
That will make this what?
The official response to those comments.
Yes, he's responding to those who have given feedback so far.
Exactly.
Okay. And this is feedback that was solicited by government. Okay. All right. So this is Professor Nyanka. He was of the opinion, and I'm quoting the Daily Graphic now, that and then now I'm quoting Professor Nyanka, colleagues in academia panicked too soon. Their reaction was premature. Premature panic, unnecessarily dramatized, exaggerated and needless, and smacked of lack of trust in the system, lack of trust in the government, and about its sensitivity to democracy, academic freedom, and institutional autonomy. It also amounts to underrating the caliber of people we have in the ministry and in government who have administered universities for years, including our board of advisors such as Professor Anamwa Mensah, Professor Mohammed Salifu, my good self, and the sector minister. Now, he was basically trying to explain the rationale behind the bill at an exclusive interview in Accra, okay? He said that, this is his explanation. And I deliberately read that comment first. I'm now going to read his justification for this bill. Okay, these are the what is the word he used? The caliber of people we have in the ministry and in government who have administered universities for years. This is the rationale. while some of the public universities, so he says that there are inconsistencies in the various acts that establish the universities, and the university and the government seeks to harmonize these acts, these inconsistencies. For instance, he said, while appointment to the governing council of the University of Mines and Technology was for a period of 2 years, the governing councils of other universities had a 3-year term. Additionally, he said, while some of the public universities had 12-member governing councils, others had 15 or 21. It is some of such inconsistencies and lack of uniformity in the management of public universities that we seek to harmonize to ensure that when you talk about Ghana universities, we are singing the same tune. So, me, I'm a Ghanaian. I've never run a university before. I'm not an expert. But I'm a Ghanaian who would like to see my government solving problems. I would like to see my government solving the problems in healthcare, in education, infrastructure. I want problems to be solved, the CD, the economy. I want you to solve problems that are affecting my life. I don't want you to find solutions where there are no problems. Which university has complained that because I have 12 members and another one has 21, I'm suffering? Which university has complained that because I only be on a board for 2 years in this university, but in other universities they can be on the council for 3 years, I am suffering? What problem are you solving with this bill? Who has complained that the fact that universities have different acts is causing problems? What problem are you solving? While children are dying in hospitals because they can't get oxygen, you can't solve that problem, but you are coming to you are creating a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. While children are going to school under trees, you can't solve that problem. You are coming to solve a problem that doesn't exist. While children in Ghana, when they finish JHS, 95% of them can either not read or cannot understand what they are reading. You can't solve that problem, but you are coming to solve a problem that doesn't exist in universities. And you are saying that this is the caliber of people we have at the ministry, so we shouldn't criticize you. And that criticism is panic. We are panicking too soon. Premature panic, unnecessarily dramatized, exaggerated and needless, and smacks of lack of trust in the system. That is your your reaction to the fact that we are asking you, what problem are you solving? Please get back to the problems. That is what we voted you in to solve. Get back to the issues. This is what we appointed you to do on our behalf. Get back to that. Please, we beg, and stop whining. Yes, sir.
I personally, I think that we'd been waiting for the official response from government. Of course, there's been a video quoting the deputy minister, the minister himself. I think he went for an event and so he was put on a portal. And but this seems to be the main official response, especially being published in the Daily Graphic from a minister of state, especially in charge of the sector. And for somebody who has occupied positions at the University of Ghana, is known to have contributed significantly to tertiary education, his response to his colleagues is a bit unfortunate. And if you outline some of the concerns that have been raised, even by former vice chancellors and those who are currently teaching or practicing in the universities, one, it's about the role generally of the governing councils, and ultimately if we have a dilution of their content, or those who tend to occupy those positions, how that could portend for decisions that will be taken on how universities are run. And ultimately, if you have government having more representations on the council, what it will mean, because of the precedent we've had with the way appointees of government tend to behave. They behave like lame ducks or rubber stamp people. Whatever their appointees say, or the direction their appointees want to follow. That is what they tend to do. And so there's no proper independence in decisions that are taken by people who are appointed by government onto certain institutions. And so there's precedent on the other hand. 2, anybody should be able to feel free in an academic setting to contribute to knowledge, dissemination of knowledge, and also influencing of public opinion in any way they want in any university situation or on a campus as they want, as is being done elsewhere around the world. That is the concern also they have. I don't think that his commentary or response take cognizance of the concerns they have. It's a bit unfortunate that this is what is coming up. But if you have generally everybody complaining, it would not mean that you are right. I think that he needs to take a relook about the concerns that have been raised and what is the content of that draft bill.
You see, for me, the thing that shocks me, and by the way, it's time for sports, but the thing that shocks me is that you are proposing a bill to solve a problem that doesn't exist. You want to harmonize the acts of the universities. Have the universities complained that a lack of harmonized acts is making it difficult for them to, to run their universities? Are they complaining? Is KNUST at a disadvantage because UCC has a different act? So what problem are they solving?
Harmonization.
And nobody who has read this thing has said it's a good idea. None of your stakeholders have said this is a good idea. But this is their response. So let's see if they will heed any of the feedback. Time for sports.
Yeah, let's harmonize many other related segments. And sports is next. We're harmonizing sports for you.